China always tell lie to the world.
Welcome to the No to Beijing 2022 podcast. Today I'm proud to have the opportunity to speak with Rushan Abbas, founder of the Campaign for Uyghurs. In addition to being an avid defender of human rights, she is also a friend. Thank you for joining us today, Rushan. Please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Jack, for giving me this opportunity. I am an Uyghur. I was born and raised in Urumqi, the capital city of the East Turkestan, what we call, and in Chinese, they give us the colonial name, Xinjiang, which is new territory in Chinese. And I started my activism while I was a young student at the university, organizing and leading in the pro-democracy demonstrations at the Xinjiang University in 1985 and 1988. And then I came to the United States in 1989 to pursue graduate school. And I have been working very closely with the members of Congress ever since I arrived in the United States. And I was the co-founder of the California-based Uyghur organization in 1993, which is the first such a Uyghur association in the United States, and served as the first vice president. Then I was elected twice for the Uyghur American Association, and one term was actually with you. We served together on the board. And then when Radio Free Asia launched its Uyghur service in 1998, I was the first Uyghur reporter broadcasting daily to the Uyghur region. So you can say that I have been always advocating for freedom and the democratic rights of my people.
Excellent. So what are the conditions for Uyghurs in eastern Turkestan, their native country?
Well, basically, everything you can think of, the horrors from the history, or if you are familiar with George Orwell's 1984, the complete surveillance police state. So the conditions for the Uyghurs in East Turkestan is horrendous. Millions of Uyghurs have been sent to concentration camps where they face brutal conditions. According to former witnesses and the leaked documents, they suffer from physical and mental torture, mass rape, sexual violence, brainwashing through re-education, so call it, basically indoctrination of people, and they are forced into overcrowded, unsanitary buildings, and they are facing malnutrition from the poor diet they're forced to eat. And millions of more of the Uyghurs are sent to work in forced labor facilities. Basically, the Chinese Communist regime is bringing back the modern day slavery. Uyghurs are sent to pick cotton in the fields, mine quartz in the desert, and being treated as slaves at the manufacturing facilities in China proper and or in East Turkestan. So on the outside of the camps, as I mentioned earlier, life is no better. Uyghurs are subject to constant surveillance and repression, and surveillance cameras, ubiquitous cameras in every corner, security checkpoints in every a few blocks, and the GPS tracking devices on every vehicle, and even QR scanning codes on Uyghurs' homes. Ordinary activities like just praying at the mosque, visiting friends, or traveling to any of the Muslim majority countries, or even just traveling to another city in East Turkestan, all are deemed suspicious behaviors and can land you in a concentration camps. The Chinese Communist Party also implemented a program called Pair Up and Become a Family, where Han Chinese cadres are sent to live inside of the Uyghur homes, monitoring and supervising their daily lives. Even Chinese state media reported that 1.1 million Han Chinese people were sent to Uyghur homes. And with that, the Uyghur women are subject to sexual abuse. And also Uyghur women are subject to forced sterilization, abortions, and sexual violence. And the Uyghur women are also forced to marry Han Chinese, while the Chinese government is offering money, housing, and the jobs for the Han Chinese men to marry Uyghur women. And if the Uyghur women refuse to marry Han Chinese because maybe she's not ready to get married, or maybe she has a boyfriend, then she will be viewed as radicalized Muslim who didn't want to marry non-Muslim Han Chinese. I spoke about the conditions of the camps, outlining the fate of my in-laws in 2018 at the Hudson Institute, and speaking about the genocidal policy of CCP in East Turkestan. 6 days after I spoke, my aunt and my sister were abducted as an act of retaliation from the Chinese Communist Party for speaking out. Also, I am an American citizen, and I was just exercising my First Amendment rights here. My sister, Dr. Rushan Abbas, was a retired, she retired from practicing medicine. She's a retired medical doctor who did no harm to anyone. And she was just a law-abiding, a quiet citizen. And she thought she was safe back home. After she came and visited us a few times, she returned. But she became a target because of my activism. Therefore, all my work here in United States right now as an American citizen, I am speaking out at the cost of my sister's freedom.
That's terrible. Do you believe the Chinese government deserves to host the 2022 Olympics?
Absolutely not. It's like the Chinese government is not only getting away with genocide and crimes against humanity, but getting rewarded by the international community or the International Olympic Committee. The very fact that Beijing is awarded the hosting of the Winter 22 Olympics is a slap in the face to anyone who cares for human rights and has a humanity in their heart. The Olympic ideal is about human dignity, peace, and international cooperation, while celebrating the differences of race, religion, and ethnicity of people coming together under the name of these prestigious games. The Chinese regime holding more than 3 million people in the concentration camps and enslaving millions more, and conducting genocide against the Uyghurs because of their ethnicity, because of their race and religion, is the last country to qualify the hosting such a prestigious games. But Olympic Committee has turned a blind eye to the atrocities of the CCP and continues to stick to their claims that the Olympics are not political. So let me ask this: is genocide a political matter? Is mass rape, forced sterilization, forced abortions, and abduction of more than 3 million Uyghur people and the abduction of more than 1 million Uyghur children, are those political issues? Human suffering is not political. So is a regime which carry out active genocide in this matter? As I said, that is the last country in the world to qualify for hosting the Olympics. The regime will use the Olympics as a way to whitewash their actions and sanitize their reputation in the international community. Allowing Beijing to host the games will be nothing but propaganda victory for Beijing and the Chinese Communist Party, and the explicit approval from the global community for the genocide of the Uyghurs and the oppression of everyone China has their eyes on. So for the IOC to say that say that is to ignore the reality of the Uyghur genocide and the atrocities committed by the hands of the Chinese regime. So we should boycott.
That's for sure. So let me give you the last word.
Thank you, Jack. The conscience of the world is being tested, and we are failing it. Shouldn't we learn anything from the darkest part of the history, just 70-some years ago? It's our duty to demand that the world live up to the promises made in the last century. It was easy for people to declare that there was not enough information or they couldn't do anything and that they didn't know it, although they knew when they allowed Berlin 1936 to happen, where Hitler showcased its power and gained legitimacy. But this is the 21st century and its information era. No one can claim the ignorance anymore because they know. They know what's happening. So Campaign for Uyghurs, our organization with Peace Project and the Jewish World Watch and the Jewish Movement for Uyghur Freedom and in the support of World Uyghur Congress, Uyghur Human Rights Projects, and some other organizations, we have launched the Berlin-Beijing Olympics campaign to call for a boycott of Beijing 2022 Games. In 1936, Hitler used the Olympics as a way to strengthen Nazi Germany's reputation globally and to hide the atrocities that he was beginning. Today, the genocide is ongoing, and the Beijing will no doubt that they will use these games for the same effect. That's why we really need to stand up. We cannot continue with business as usual when it comes, when it means profiting from slavery and a blind eye to human suffering. So it's so important to take action, to speak out, tell your friends and families, and also follow us on social media. And you can also go to our website, campaignforuyghurs.org, and sign up for our mailing list there, so you can keep yourself educated and updated with what's going on and how you can get involved. Thank you so much again for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Rushan. Have a great day.
Thank you.
As a reminder, please visit our web pages and sign up for the Action mailing list. The list is moderated and a forum for the exchange of ideas to protest against the 2022 Beijing Olympics. Thank you and have a great day.